Right.
That's so. How come this Quran, 7th century, this anathema is telling you, indicating that the sun is not round right now, because that day of judgment is, because it's talking about the day of judgment action right there. So then it comes to tell you that right now it's telling you that it's not round. It's what it's telling. So how is it telling you it's not round? Correct point about the sun. Second point, how is it telling you that the sun and the moon each rotate in their own orbit? 7th century, long after 7th century, the Western world still getting it wrong. With all the equipment that they have, they're still getting it wrong. They're playing catching up. When they're up to date, when they get it later on and they realize sun take 26, 28 days, they up the information, but they're getting it wrong after. They can't get it right from 7th century. So Max, you know, if you were ignorant about the sun, why was 7th century telling that the sun and the moon rotate in its own orbit? Correct point. It was on Earth.
Yeah, that's so true, but remember.
Now I'm asking you that. So I'm giving you a background that as a revelation from God, it has the correct information about the sun.
Yeah, but except for the spring. It's not necessary.
No, what I'm trying to say to you, so because if we see that in-depth correct information about the sun at the time when before you and people like you who claim to be advanced didn't know it, and the sun rotated in its own orbit, you didn't know it. Yes? So I'm showing you how the human being, our Prophet Muhammad then, with God revelation, the Quran, is more advanced about the knowledge of the sun than you at a time where science were backward. This is my point I'm trying to say to you. If he's more knowledge than you about the sun then the only thing that he meant right there later on, it cannot be incorrect. Because he proved at a earlier date, without the equipment, that he's more knowledge about all the science about the sun. You get my point I'm making here?
Yeah, but one thing though, is there an Arabic word for orbit? I'd be surprised if there was. Because the orbit wouldn't have existed in
There
might be.
because it would have been something else, wouldn't it?
each rotated in the whole orbit. Every for it. Come on.
I said orbit.
Eh?
Because orbit's a modern word.
The sun, but you know what orbit mean?
But that's the thing, it's one of those fancy words, isn't it? So,
Yes, sir.
because if you're on Earth, how would you say that something orbits? The only way you do it is if you've got a string and spun a stone around, isn't it? To see something like
but you cannot escape the rotation. So you say there's no Arabic word for rotation?
No, but to actually observe an orbit, that's the only way you can do it.
There's no word for rotation?
Yeah, but that's a different word.
Yeah, but I'm asking, after Prophet Muhammad, the Western world, did they say the sun rotate? Was they saying the sun rotate? I'm saying after Prophet Muhammad, if the Western world, the wrong belief that they have, did they have that the sun rotate or did they have it stationary?
I haven't looked up the history.
They didn't even have the rotation part correct. That's my point I'm making. So you're gonna say there's no word in Arabic for rotation? So what are we doing there? We're rotating?
No, orbit's different. Orbit is going.
Yeah, but I'm trying to show you. If it's talking about celestial body, it's talking about it's rotated as if even though it's going around, but on its own, it's still spinning on its own.
Yeah, but that isn't orbit. Orbit is going around something.
The word I use there, says if it applies to a man in the water, that implies that he's swimming. If it applies to the ocean body, that means like the sun and the stars, it implies that it's moving. You cannot say that God didn't know about the sun, God created the sun. That makes no sense. When God revealed the Quran.
Are you talking about the way it's mentioned in the Quran?
So God used that word to address the sun, because God created the sun. He knows what the best word to use for the sun in Arabic.
No, but is it actually orbit? Is that the word though in Arabic?
I'm saying, but orbit. What's the meaning behind orbit? Explain it. What's the action of it? Describe the action. Rotating.
No, but that's different from orbit. That's what I'm trying to say.
What's orbit?
Orbit is when something goes around something.
It's more scientific.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's more scientific than like.
So you're saying there's no word. There's no word in Arabic. You're saying.
No.
What's it gonna? Are you really saying? There's a word. What's gonna, brother? What's gonna? You saying there's a word? There's a word in English to explain when something goes around something.
Yeah.
Even though English is a 11th century deficient language. Now, let me see my point. English is a 11th century language, deficient language, not powerful like Hebrew, not Arabic. These are Semitic language, strong. One word have multiple meaning. That's how powerful this language are. Unlike your English language. Yes? So this deficient language, though, you saying we can find a word to express something going around something. But in Arabic, the same action which you could demonstrate on the ground and people do it every day.
No, but what I'm saying
and you said that we didn't have no word to explain it. A ring game, someone in the middle, people running around. And we don't find. You say that we didn't find no word. We don't find no word to describe that.
No, but think about it. How would someone in Arabic at that time explain orbit? How would they do it?
I'm just explaining orbit. They explain in the language that they have. You say orbit in your language. Orbit is a made-up word.
No, but words are there to describe.
I'm saying, but the action of 11th century, where the sun going around, what you call orbit, the action that you're describing as orbit, before the 7th century, and before you got the O and the R and the B and the I and the T in the English letter that spell that word, the action was still there going on. What did you call it then? Because orbit didn't exist.
No, but you have to see it.
I'm saying the word orbit didn't exist, but action was there going on. What did you call it?
Yeah, but you have to see the action to actually describe it. You describe things that you see, isn't it?
Yes, what I'm saying, before the orbit didn't exist. So I'm saying to you, before the English language, English 11th century language, Quran revealed 7th century. So Quran have a more platform to have a more portion to come first to have a word to describe such action from the creator. Your action, your arbitrary, we can dispel it, we can throw it out. Because you make a word letter for it.
Actually, the easiest thing is, you know what verse that is? The one who talks about the orbit. Do you know where it is in the Quran? Because the easiest thing is also for us to look it up, isn't it?
I'm saying if anyone have a precedent, an Arabic word would be more validated for me to take because it came before your language that you're using.
No,
And the sun exists by them time when Arabic words there.
Alright.
God knows about the sun from that time same way.
Yeah, but
So it does
but do you know what verse that is?
the only way because you don't the Quran to be the word of God in the night, that's why you challenge that way. I'm saying to you, when you're gonna use the word orbit here in English, you have to be careful. The word orbit has been come later on to define an action that they don't even know that was going on previously.
Yeah, but no, so I'm asking you what the verse is. I'm asking you what verse it is, so we can just look it up.
And the orbit might be changed like how the word to mean something different later on, like how the word gay changed to mean something different. Gay mean happy back then, no it mean something different now. So be careful, orbit might change later on, what are you going to say then?
No, but we're talking about what it says in, so you know that the verse you're talking about in the Quran, do you know what it is?
Yeah, but we was talking about something different first before.
Yeah, but we're still talking about the sun though, isn't it? So we're talking about the sun and the description of the sun in the Quran, isn't it?
I'm saying something with the Quran where some people who have intellect and stuff like that. God says, look up, talk about Jesus and Mary. God says, look how people said Mary, Jesus is God are divine to them. God said, but the man is man, but walk the earth and eat food. God said, look how plain, look how simple we make the verses for them. So now God reads like that now. Look how easy we make the verse for you. And some people don't even get it. What God said? God said, they both walk the earth and eat food. And the Christian want to clock and say, but wait, why am I calling the God there? He walk the earth and eat food. They don't get it's so simple statement, profound, but they don't get what God is saying in the backlog wisdom of it. If he walk the earth and he eat food, what God is saying to you about it? But when you think deeper, see what you're gonna get out. Dependency, oxygen, need food. The earth is his container. If he eat food and what happen naturally, the body process of digesting. If you have to digest and the pass, what gonna happen after? He pass wind. Then you have to do number 2. This is who you calling God? The majesty of the one who created the heavens and the earth, the honorable, the most noble. So God says, they both walk the earth and eat food. Look how easy we make the verse for them. They have no sense. Can't leave if think about it.
So it's 21:33.
Yeah, 21, I think it's so, yeah.
21:33.
Yes. But remember you're reading English right there, translation, so.
No, but that's why I go to this Awakening Islam, because it has all the different...
Transliteration?
Well, it has all the different translations.
I would call it expansion, it's a Musu'un. Musu'un in the expansion.
I just do it for no reason. Not for the sake of righteousness. If someone just decides to punch you.
Brother, he find this our brother. He following the Quran. Also, he finding something contradict something. For example, if I read today, if I am non-Muslim and I read this Quran sincerely, simple, if I ask Allah, oh Allah, guide me. I am lost. Allah will guide me. Allah will guide you, and then you will come to the Quran. Allah and the Prophet. But our brother, if he said that,
no, it's because it's something different. No, it's okay.
No, he finding something always is good.
No, we explain.
At last, I hope.
No, because we were talking about the Bible earlier. So now I'm asking him
About the Quran and the view. There's the sun.
No, since we were talking about the Bible for like an hour, so now we switched around.
No, we said about the Quran and we were saying that because I said when you read the first value, we don't know bracket on it. It says he reached a certain place at the sun. We know from there when the sun, every human being know the sun is in the sky and he can't reach the sun. So why is it? It must tell the common sense to tell you that he's talking about something different. But because if you have a preposition that you read, if you take the book as a macro, Allah says they take what Allah reveals as macro. Allah talk about this as well in the behavior. Then you're gonna all a portion. But then I say what? Be careful what you taking as macro. Because you can't let me say every other statement make about the sun is correct. He's not wrong. He wrote it in his own orbit. And everything about Mekal, the expanding universe, the stars and these things, man's portion of stars and these things. So all these things is talk about all things solar system and all those points correct here. But the one thing you want to pick up now, because you with your have the perception problem now, the perception is not you, Mr. Generally. The perception is a macro within yourself. If you think that it's talking about a human being go and find a literal sun, then you know very in advance that we can't go near the sun. So he's not talking about that. You should know that.
Yeah, so
when it says certain place of the sun, if you have any inkling and any IQ, you should tell automatically it's talking about view.
Yes.
How come I could see that immediately when I read of it? We don't know brackets. If my children could see it, then it's gonna make the adult them who's seen otherwise as mischievous or make they look like a numbskull. No, not saying.
May I ask you, who are you? Are you? What faith do you follow? Are you Christian? Or do you just believe in science? Some
So this is without bracket.
Who are you?
No, I found, you're saying about orbit. It seems that most of them, it says travel, so they say, some say orbit, but others say each in its rounded course. And another one says in their celestial spheres, gliding in its orbits, each swimming in orbit.
It's rotating there.
Do you know Arabic?
Little bit, yes.
Yeah. We're trying to find if he says orbit. Yeah, orbit. Is it in?
Okay, but the word is
What it means is خلق الليل والنهار. Means Allah is the one who created night and day.
The sun and the moon.
والشمس والقمر, the sun and the moon.
Remember, one second, brother. Keep it hard. Remember, he's talking to human being on earth about the sun and the moon.
كل في فلك يسبحون. كل في فلك يسبحون.
Yes, but yeah, that's the word, yeah.
Yeah, they surrounding the orbit.
All right, but is the word?
You find it the way you good man. Thank you. You find it. This one tells you about the sun
discussion on Tawheed.
and the
About what
moon.
Tawheed? What?
What is Tawheed? So we'll have a discussion. What is Tawheed?
To the orbit. Yasbihun means
Guys always complain that Christians talking about Islam. Now we're saying let's talk about Tawheed.
Yeah.
What is Tawheed?
But does it say around?
What is Tawheed?
Yeah, exactly. We'll talk about what
So does it
Tawheed.
say like moving around?
No, Yasbihun, he said.
And you have, I saw you on the camera this morning. Who were you talking with?
Oh, right.
About in the beginning was the word, and the word was with God. John 1:1.
Like something not going down.
Oh, so but it doesn't.
Like swimming.
It doesn't say around though.
No.
Oh, right, okay. You see, so
Yes, but
that's what I was trying to say.
What?
That is the Arabic is not necessarily like around like in the sun. Like it's moving in a direction somewhere.
In there what?
No, what I'm saying, see, orbit specifically is around something. But the Arabic, from what you're saying, is to do with the moon, not necessarily around in a circle.
No. It says. It says.
Okay, so this is just a quick intermission to the recording. What I'm just showing you is what I mean by the way that they are saying about how it's orbit. And you hear Abdul keep using the word Yasparun. You'll say it quite a few times. And basically, here's a website called Islam Awakened, which is a good one for finding out the sort of the meaning of the words in the Arabic. And it's interesting that it's got this get more Muslim customers, but notice they're saying that Muslims are people with pink skin. So basically they're throwing away all the Indonesian and African Muslims, but that's what you'd expect them to do, because, well, obviously the pink skin ones have got more money. But anyway, let's get away from that. And so you'll notice when you look at so this is the Arabic, and you notice it's got the transliteration here. So you see it's got the last word is yaspauna. So falakin yaspauna. So the falakin would be the, I think the orbit, and then yasparuna is the floating one. And so you notice if you look through, even the literal says orbit and floating. Now if you scroll down these different, actually let me increase the size. Oh yeah, this is a bit weird, because if you go too big, it goes off the side. Yeah, I think that would do. Right, so you see they all see floating through space, then they float, orbit, and notice this, but this is a good thing. Notice that this one says swim along. So interesting, Yusuf Ali's Saudi revision, it actually says swim along, a rounded course. Now, funny enough, this is actually the kind of the most accurate translation. But the thing I'm trying to show here is that when you look at how many of them say orbit, and it's because obviously when they translate, they know that orbit is a modern phenomenon that was only discovered recently. So what they're trying to show, to make it seem as if Muhammad knew about orbiting. So you notice how many of these translations use the word orbit. And you see it's but you see here we get another one who see orb floating. So you notice that a few of them know what the Arabic says and realize that they're being a scammer by using the word orbit. But see, some of them will say float because they know that is, and the reason why I'm saying about float is because if you actually listen to the Muslim person who was speaking to in this video, you'll notice he'll actually say it's floating. So this Arabic speaker who we're talking to, he'll say float or swim. So notice he swim here. So you won't get to see it, but in the video, he's actually moving his hands as if you're swimming in the water. So essentially, as far as he's concerned, as an Arabic speaker, the word is like float or swim. So what I'm trying to show here is that most of these, some of them do see it says float, swim. So some of them do actually say that because they know what the Arabic says. So essentially, all of the ones which don't say float or swim and try to say something else, it just say swimming. They're the ones who are the scammers. Yeah, so you notice it says orbit, float, move. Right, so he moves swiftly, so he's trying to be a scammer. Floating's okay. So these are all the official translations. Now, here's the interesting part. You can see how all these Arabic translators are trying to be clever with their translations. But now, let's see what happens if we try and use the actual Arabic words. And see what they... Actually, probably the best bit is, rather than me getting it wrong, I'll go for the... should I go for column view? Alright, yeah, so here we get the actual Arabic words. So notice it says an orbit is this word falakin. So let's take this one, I'll copy it, and let's see what the translation cites. That's interesting. I thought this one had Arabic, but obviously it doesn't. Let's try the next one. Right, so let's put our Arabic in. And notice it says astronomy. So that's interesting. So the word that, so they're saying that this Arabic word is astronomy. So what that means is essentially looking up at this, or the study of the skies. So the question is, why is it all of these translators, why are they saying orbit when you do an actual check on a dictionary and obviously orbit's not going to show up? Why? Because the Muslim translators are essentially, well, trying to deceive you, you might as well say. So let's try another place in case that first site was a line. So we're going to put in our Arabic. And let's see what it says. I think he thinks that's it. I don't know, that seems a bit weird. Let's see what Google has to say. Alright, see, so now the Google translator says astronomy again. So isn't it interesting that why are we getting the word astronomy when the Muslims are trying to convince us that it's an orbit? So what does astronomy have to do with orbit? All you're doing in astronomy is you're looking at the sky and seeing the stars that are there. That's all Muhammad can do. Obviously, Muhammad knows how to look at the sky and see a star and to see the sun and the moon. Anyone can do that. So what I'm trying to show here is that these Muslim scholars who do the translation, they're just trying to be clever, basically. So now let's get this big word, the Yasparuna one, which is what you hear them talking about. So they're trying to say, well, actually, I think floating is correct anyway. So I think it's the orbit word, which was the one that I was trying to show. Alright, so I think that's let's try. Yeah, so swim. So just like he was saying. So basically, they agree. So this is exactly what the Arab speaker was saying, is that the word yasparu means swim. So, but the interesting thing is that it's swim more according to just moving through just basically moving through something. So essentially, even though they've got the word orbit here, it says an orbit. If you actually try and look up this particular word, obviously Muhammad wouldn't know what orbit means. So the main thing I'm trying to show is that how much of a bunch of scammers these Muslim translators are, trying to tell you that it's orbit, when they know full well the word orbit wouldn't have existed in the time of Muhammad, because no one would know what an orbit is. But obviously you can get a string and spin something around and the stone would orbit the string, but they wouldn't, they wouldn't understand that is how the moon was going around the earth at that time. So whenever you have Muslims coming to you about this, because I realize I've been babbling on a bit long, so I better cut this short so you can listen to the rest of the what was being said. But I just want to say this just to say that if you have Muslims coming with this verse telling you about, oh look, Muhammad knew about the sun and the moon going in space, of course this through space, that's just, this is a ridiculous translation, through space, because obviously it's supposed to be Muhammad obviously doesn't know anything about that. And so you have to watch out for any Muslims that try to be clever with this verse, saying that Muhammad knew about what was happening in space, and just tell them to come to this site, get the Arabic words, and then just put the Arabic words in a dictionary, and then you'll find out that most of these translators are just basically scammers trying to scam you with their translations. And this is, I suppose, is why if you really want to believe what people are saying about the Quran, you're going to have to either learn the Arabic or give up on it.
I don't know Arabic.
All right, okay.
I can
The
read
word- the
it,
word
but
says-
I
the
don't know
word-
the
No,
meanings.
read in English. English, you can read English.
No,
But what's the point? What's your point?
No, but I'm trying to
You
find.
keep saying
So you
what's the
wait,
point?
so wait.
No,
So
because they translate it as orbit.
So that so wait. Oh,
What's the
sorry.
point?
You saying they put Arabic up as well? I mean they know Arabic, innit?
Yeah.
And they put the translation there.
Mm.
But then you ask someone else, and I'm not disrespecting the brother, you know Arabic as well,
Yeah,
and you ask him to translate it as well.
yeah, but the thing is that.
So, but you say okay, then no.
But what I'm saying is orbit has a specific meaning, but what they're doing is just an
The word Arabic is
approximation.
a letter name. You can say I can say the act. I can describe the action of what people meant by Arabic. You don't say the word Arabic in it.
Yeah, no,
You understand?
But,
The concept of it.
that's what the Arabic is doing. But what I'm saying is it's not specific as.
Well, I'm saying the Arabic exists before the
What's
English
wrong?
11th century
What's the
language.
point, though? What's the point?
Well, no, he's saying.
This verse revealed when you're
Okay,
English established. One second. This verse revealed when the English language never established. English is a 11th century language. You know aware of that?
Yeah, but what I'm looking for.
You know what the old English look like? You can't recognize it. You know that?
What are you looking for?
No, but what I'm saying is that what I'm trying to find is if there was an Arabic word which describes something going around something in a circle, specifically a circle.
Okay, so what we're gonna do with that information?
No, so that means it didn't originally say orbit. It said
Oh, you know,
something-
it didn't say. You don't know what the word means.
No, we just asked. He said.
Here, you say you just ask, but you just ask the man. They just tell you what the word means in translation. So why you have to ask again?
No, because you see, the thing is, what the translators do, they sometimes, you know it as well.
So why do you feel that the translator might do the same way, the same procedure?
no, he knows Arabic. That's
Or because he give you what you want to hear?
you know me?
Yes.
No, but we don't.
But what's his
Yeah, but
point?
what I mean is, I didn't tell you how to.
Listen, man. And he is the one that created the night and the day, the sun and the moon, each in orbit floating.
That's the one, yes. Floating means
That's what he says.
it's swimming.
So he said that's the one. So what he said
No,
now?
he says floating. But
That's what he says now.
yeah, but remember, orbit means specifically around something.
Yes and no. The translator know the orbit mean that.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying is, the
I
translator.
translator know that.
Okay.
Hold on, one second. The translator know that know Arabic more than me and you. You know Yasper Un. Listen, because I Arabic speakers talk about Yasper Un. You know Yasper Un mean rotating and
swimming.
rotating at the same time and floating.
Is it?
Yeah, but you just said floating, isn't it?
Yes.
But
you
does
can
it give a
say
direction? Does it give a direction like curved? Because remember, that's what orbit is a curving around.
I mean, the point is
Wait,
there.
there's more than
there.
that.
Why do you want the word orbit?
No, what I'm trying to say is the translators, they put orbit in to clarify it, but the original Arabic word in Muhammad's time wasn't orbit. That's the point
Okay,
I'm
but
making.
what's the problem?
What?
What's the problem with that?
Oh,
No, because orbit is a specific
One-
thing
one- one-
of
one
going
second, one
around.
second.
The Quran not
Okay,
You,
but
wait, one
what's
second,
the
one
issue?
second.
The
You
issue-
realize what you're asking? You're saying 7th century. This English word that didn't exist weren't there. Come
Exactly.
on,
So what's the issue?
No, but you see, that English word's got a meaning. It's the meaning I'm saying didn't exist.
What mean? Yeah, but the meaning-
of going around something. So you got one object, another thing goes around
No, they
it.
can't be telling that because they didn't know. 11th century, they didn't know the sun go around.
No, I'm talking about the Arabic.
11th century, English is a 11th century language. 11th century, the Western world still didn't know that the sun was stationary. They didn't know the sun going around nothing.
Yeah, so did the Arabs know that?
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? 11th century, the English language, at 11th century, they still think the sun was stationary. They didn't think it orbit nothing.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right?
So what you're saying is not correct. They could not say use the word orbit then. Because that makes no sense. They cannot use the word orbit for something that they believe was stationary.
No, we're talking Arabic, remember?
I'm saying periodly, these people don't believe the sun move. It's stationary.
He's getting to the
Fixed.
point, basically.
It's monument, statue.
Yeah,
Don't move.
You're proving that it moves, though.
Yeah, I'm saying to you, I'm saying the Western world, 7th century, they believe the sun didn't move periodly. That's within the English language paradigm. Now I'm saying to you, you don't see that big massive problem in that. So you cannot trust those people to come to, let's go to Arabic now. 7th century now, the word you use there, Yaspa Un, doesn't mean a statue. It means something moving at least.
Alright,
So that show you 7th century, Prophet Muhammad is way, the current peace on him, is way ahead of the one who think it's stationary. It's faster than you same way.
Yeah, no, but I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just the fact they got orbit all down there, but that's just them embellishing it. Like.
So because you, the reason why you wouldn't realize it rotate and move, because most of the Western world scientists, they stand on the shoulder of the Arabic scientists, the pioneer. The Arabic scientists, the Muslim scientists are the forefathers for the Western world. Did you not know? Who discovered the blood circulation? I think it's William Harvey.
What's the other one?
It's a Muslim scientist who drew the first world map. You think it's the Western people? It's a Muslim scientist who drew the world first world map. The Muslim scientists,
Algebra.
yes, these are your pioneer scientists. These are the foundation. The Western world is on top of their head, but they are liars.
But then,
Ibn Nafis.
but then what you're saying, then they should have fixed that 18.
I'm saying to you, that orbiting, that movement thing here, I'm not saying they don't have equipment later on. I'm not saying they don't have equipment later on, and they can see addition more stuff as well. I'm not saying no. I'm showing you where after 7th century, they were so bad they think it was completely stationary.
I don't understand.
7th century, this verse indicate moving.
What's the problem?
Yeah, okay,
So
fine.
I'm saying to you, there's a massive difference from stationary later on where you still getting it wrong.
Yes, but Arabic.
No, this you know, if they're following the Muslim scientists, they pick up the Muslim movement, they pick up this
What's the
word,
problem? I don't
because Arabic came later than this word.
What's the problem?
It's a language export. They pick up the Yasba'un, what it meant by the Arabs, and they upgrade it when they have more equipment.
All right, okay. So now,
So we don't bash foundation.
all right. So basically, what it comes down to is when you spoke to me first time, you shouldn't have said orbit. You should have said that Jasper rules, shouldn't you?
Yasba'un.
To clarify
But
it
it's
more.
pretty much the same.
Yasba'un.
No, orbit is very specific. If it's not
But that's
specific,
an English word. That's an English word, right? And Arabic and English are two different things.
no, but the word orbit has a meaning. The meaning is specific. So if the
That
meaning
goes
doesn't
around
fit,
something. That goes
yeah,
around.
yeah. If it doesn't fit the actual, if the meaning doesn't fit,
Okay, so you want English to be your like.
no, it could be any
You
language.
want why?
If-
English is his guide, yeah.
No.
You want what came later, the
things that came
different
later
language that
is
came
guide.
11th century.
This is your guide.
No, what I'm
In other
saying.
way around, is the Arabic should dictate the English.
No, my
Yeah,
point
yeah,
is,
that's
if,
fair, that's
You're missing the point. You know, you can't use a different language.
the point, yeah.
It's like my son, yeah, came later than me. He's my son.
And now you want
Yes.
to use him to guide you.
My son cannot dictate to me because I'm the father.
yeah, but here's the thing. If they had
Do you
rockets,
understand what you're saying? That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
My son don't dictate to me
He's just saying
because
you're
I'm the
trying to
daddy.
yeah, but if they had
My son don't
rockets,
tell me what time to move and when to go and where to go. I tell him when to move. I tell him where to go because that's my son.
yeah, but if they had rockets,
So English language,
You shouldn't use English as a
English language. Even some of the English letters they take it from Arabic letters. He didn't know this. They copy some of the letters.
yeah, but here's the
Hebrew,
thing.
Arabic,
If they had spaceships or rockets and they saw how that thing
They didn't have
orbit,
script. They didn't have
no,
specific.
but you listen to what I'm saying.
They didn't have specific.
They would have added the word orbit in Arabic, wouldn't they?
No.
They would
Orbit
have.
was a new way.
Orbit
time.
Orbit spell with English letters O-R-B-I-t. That did not
scientific word.
exist.
It's a scientific
One
word.
second.
It's a scientific
Orbit spell with O-R-B-I-t. That did not exist in the 7th century.
There's other languages that would have orbit though in their own. You said
Which
in their own.
language? Which language?
The old world,
Which
the old world.
language? Which language? Which language?
See now
Ask
the
him which
moon,
language.
you
Yeah.
see,
Yeah.
the moon, the Quran says, we put the very close moon, very close, I mean, sorry.
He's not understanding your point.
Because we can see. But if you try to take now airplane and you try to go closer, always you will go same distance. You will cross it.
Yeah.
Nobody can touch it.
All right, brother.
That one,
Listen. All right, look at the word
We
before
understand
you.
what you're saying, but it's not making sense because you're using English as your guide.
Falakin before Yasba'un. What Falakin mean?
Which language said orbit in those times?
Falak brother.
Falakin, listen.
Is the you know the stars, all stars, all the movies,
He knows
all
Arabic.
the stars where you know for the astronomy there is 9 of what 9?
Yeah.
You know Arabic.
9 Falak.
Planets.
Yeah, planet. Yes.
Yeah.
Falak means is planet.
He knows Arabic. He knows Arabic.
Falak is a planet.
Yes. And the Yasba'un.
يسبحون, as you said before, floating. يسبحون is swimming. The moon.
You tell him.
The
You tell him. He
moon.
knows that.
Oh, Yasba'un.
the
What does that
sun,
mean?
They never go down.
Tell him the verse, tell him the
Yasba'un,
verse.
if you're talking about in the water, it means swimming.
That's correct.
Depends what you're talking.
And floating the same.
Floating, yeah.
Yes.
No.
The same.
But the orbit is
But
still
I tell you,
floating.
I want
Orbit
to
is
because
still
I multiple
floating.
meaning. That's what I said to you.
Yeah, no,
The
but
orbit is still floating, no?
We're not making it up before.
Yeah,
In space. When you're in space, you're floating.
yeah, but this is specifically around though, because gravity pulls something
But
around.
whether it says
So they're
orbit or
floating-
not orbit, it doesn't matter.
So they're floating.
No,
Out,
No,
so
but I'm
if it's
You
each,
get the point. You need
if
to
it's each is floating on their own course. What the course mean?
Of course, it's its own way. The
Course
way.
is around the course.
The way. The way
Each
is
floating
going.
on their own
No,
course.
course can go in anywhere.
Course.
Course doesn't mean round.
He's just floating on
You
the
know
own
it's
course.
like, you know it's like,
He's
yeah.
course. He say course.
It's
Not
like,
course.
yeah.
Course.
He speak force. You say
It's like in those times.
Course means the way.
Of course, is
The
where
way
he
you
goes,
take
isn't
it.
it?
Course mean rounded. Of course.
No,
Just because he
that's
did it.
orbit.
No, course mean course as well. Course mean rounded up as well. I want you to get the share. Each rotating, each floating in their own course. Each moving according to their own course. But
It is
the road that's
its own path.
no, but the road that's
It is its own
no,
way.
the road that's
That's
there.
what-
Why get to understand the road that's in there? Because it's coming to that thing in the celestial body, innit? When it comes to that thing right there, it implies floating. And we talk about sometimes if the aspirin used to a human being on the ground, he's walking or he's running. It's just moving.
Yes.
If he's talking about in water body, it means the person is swimming because it depends on the place. The meaning change depends on the place that he's talking about. You understand?
Yeah, so essentially, what you can get from it is that Muhammad or Allah told him that they moved, but
In their own course.
yeah, so they moved in a certain direction. You
Yes,
agree?
the certain
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah,
It says floating.
but it doesn't specifically say orbit. So what I'm trying to say is the actual orbit itself.
So
wasn't-
all they float in the each course if it's not orbit.
No, but remember what we're trying to
The
say.
sun and the moon is floating in the each course if that's just orbit.
Yeah, but basically what it means is that the actual circular course, that's the thing that wasn't mentioned in the Quran. The fact it's circular.
Mention other place because
Orbit is a
Allah
new
says,
word. It's a
Allah
new
says,
word.
Allah says, what's on? Allah talk about the
It's a
sun and the
new
moon.
word.
Allah talk about the sun and the journey of it going and coming back.
Yeah, but still, where does it say it goes around? Though? I mean, we're talking
So
Arab.
when you go around, you have a starting point where you start from many.
Yeah, and you come back to the same point.
Oh, you come back. Oh, thank you.
so
I'm saying to you.
it says that in the Quran.
I never speak about the sun. And I talk about the moon, the move of the moon as well. Like all dead start till it come back, like all dead starts.
But does it give the shape of the movement though?
If it in its own, I'm telling you, the course also mean round as well. You say course don't mean round.
No,
Course can mean round as well.
swimming, isn't it? He says
Course,
planet.
C-O-U-R-S-E also can mean round. Go get a dictionary.
Really?
Yes, course.
Well,
When you go to a Cayman's track, when they say horse is running on a track,
it's
the
not.
horse, no, when they say if a horse is going to a circle, it's doing a course.
It's not always round. Though.
Oh no, you change it. You tell me it don't mean round, but then you say it's not always round. Until it's a course also mean round.
You caught him.
I'm telling you, it's a course also mean round. You see, you have to change the word. They say it doesn't always mean. Get your dictionary out, because I used to read that damn dictionary. I know.
Yeah.
A course, a course can also mean round, clearly. So if you use stuff that implies it, and it can also mean it, then it fits in. But I'm telling you, just because Arabic word is not like a deficient, it's not a weak English language word. One word have multiple, it have full of respect, it have full of number. One word have multiple meaning. That's just the language. Before the revelation revealed us, how the language was stay. So it's not fixed, it's not staged. The language was like that before the revelation. It was known to be a perverse language. Before Quran reveal, yeah? Before Quran reveal, in the Arabic language, yeah? How much name you have for lion? Yeah, how much Arabic word you have for lion? To say a lion. You have Hamza, you have other words.
Lion.
Yeah. You have more than one word, yeah. You have more than one word, I'm saying. It's very powerful. So I'm saying it's not, people think it's staged. This language was like that before. Same thing Hebrew, no different, Hebrew.
These are ancient.
They're stronger than, these are Semitic language, very powerful language.
English came from like Latin and you know that.
English also copy something from those languages I'm talking about.
They grab and choose, you know that.
Yeah.
They even take the resources.
Alright, but anyway, so
Yeah, that's the one. Don't worry.
so what do you want to do? You want to go back to?
It's talk about more than one thing, the solar body, the sun and the moon. It clearly points out two. It named two already, clearly. And if you're gonna say each,
But we still haven't got to the point. What's the point?
each moving their own course. What does it mean?
Not orbit. Even
No.
specific, not specific. What is it? What's your point?
No, because you see, basically what he's saying is that the fact that the Earth orbits the sun, or the moon orbits the Earth.
Okay.
So that's describing as being in a circular-like motion.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is in the Quran, it doesn't actually say that actual circular
No, but
part of the motion.
what it's going to say, not only that the sun and the moon is moving in its own. Each course. Keep
Yeah,
that
of
one.
course.
Each course. Now all that is doing is each course. Yes, moon is floating while doing it. Let me give you an example. You stay there, yeah? In some space. So I'm gonna move around you. This is the floating. My movement around you is the floating. Look at this. So I'm moving around you. But while I'm moving around you, I'm spinning on my own. So look at this.
This can be floating.
You see this here? I'm still going around you. But while going around you, I'm spinning and doing my own course on myself.
Right, okay. But does he describe... That's not what he describes here, though.
What mean what describe here?
I don't hang it out with it.
But because you're what you just showed there.
What mean what describe here?
It says, and the one who...
Which one English you? Which English you want? There's loads there. Which one you want to take? You take all of them? Should we read all of them?
Well, it take a while.
See this now? Because you want to be selective now, innit?
Actually, if you do it sideways, it becomes bigger.
So there is paraphrasing, but some of them mean the same thing, I'm telling you. Each in an orbit. They float. So we're talking about the float. Then each means singular. In an orbit, the orbit is spinning. So each of them, while floating, the move. This is so this was the float. Go. Oh no, one second. This was the floating, the movement. Because you're speaking about the celestial body. Jasper own mean float when he's talking about what is in the sky.
But remember, we already agreed that those are friendly translations, though, isn't it?
But you asked me to read it.
No, but you can, the ones that say orbit, they're friendly translations.
Why friendly?
Well, because orbit.
But you don't know Arabic. You have to take what they give you. You can't say it's incorrect. You say it's incorrect. You take what they give you because you don't know Arabic, do you?
No, that's why I said friendly. Friendly means they're just making it more...
Oh, you know they're making it when you don't know the word, Arabic word, what it means.
No, but you guys are talking what it means.
You're presuming.
So you guys...
But they tell you, the Arabic person, the one who put Arabic up, they tell you what it means.
Both of you are agreeing that of what the word means. So I just listen to both of you talk.
There's no other language, just give me English.
Both of you are agreeing.
I'm saying to you, but you cannot use the English arbiter that came later on to dictate Yasbahun. You use Yasbahun to dictate your thing. Yasbahun can tell you what your things mean.
Yeah,
if you say correct, we see the Arabic can correct your English if you go incorrect.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying those are friendly translations.
What do you mean friendly?
No, because they...
Friendly relative to what?
Well, to English...
You can't be friendly without no friend. Friendly to what?
No, friendly to the propagation of the Quran, isn't it?
What propagation? Why is the propagation?
Well, because you don't want people to be confused and think that
if they want,
when they're talking about...
We're more transparent and more. We're not like the Bible. Quran is not like the Bible committee that keep changing every second. Right now speaking, the Bible is in a lab or factory right now changing.